Alrighty guys, welcome back. So DBSOZ, we got something slightly different here for you today. Actually got a webcam battle from a YouTube creator series. I'll explain that one more in a minute, but we have Finn versus Jiren here, myself playing Finn, LudyBros playing Jiren. Bit more of a rogue matchup, so it should be something interesting you don't get to see every day. Jiren going ahead, activating his leader effect and take a life and search top. I think it's 7 for a U11 one drop and play it. Playing a Kunshi, this one gives all his other one drops barrier. Pretty handy against Finn since I can't eat stuff with barrier. He's going to go ahead, tap 1 for his Topo Unison. This is probably the best turn 1 you can hope for in the Jiren deck. Sets up your free play 1-drops at the end of the turn, sets up your Jiren Spirit boosts, so you can evolve on your opponent's turn, and Yamcha counterplay, which is huge in the meta at the moment. He's going to free play his 1-drop Jiren there off Topo, drawing a card and passing over to Finn. Finn's turn 1, not nearly as exciting, just going to swing at Unison to try and draw a card. The reason we're not beating down his leader here is because we don't want him to get that early awaken. And the Unison sort of facilitates a lot of the deck, so if you can beat down on that early game, you're going to set yourself up for a good time. So tapping 1, playing a Toa Searcher. She is a top 5, she's going to grab either a specified 2-cost Unison or a 3 or less Demon Realm or Android. Grabbing another Bardock Unison there. You can see we've charged one as well, so we've probably got another one in hand. If I was the Jiren player, I'd be thinking that he's got lots of Unison cards in hand, so probably not much combo power at this point. Not really too important at the early game. We also could have awakened last turn, taking his Kunshi, but there'd really be no point. We'd just be giving an aggressive deck more damage. Jiren going ahead again, taking a life, going to search for another 1-drop U11. So we'll talk a bit about the webcam series for Rising Phoenix Odyssey. A American YouTuber, Rising Phoenix Odyssey, set up a Discord chat with a bunch of other content creators. He set up a tournament where we each get to play a few rounds against each other. Just a good way to promote the channels and have a bit of fun. So obviously from Australia, normally wouldn't get to play against too many Americans. I think the last time I played American was the first pro play online tournament when Code first began about 2 years ago. That was a fun tournament. I think I got to play people like Andrew Duval in that one. Unfortunately, he beat me with Surge Coup. I was playing cooler at that time. You would think that'd be an easy match, but not when you get hit by Fu Shrouded twice in one match. So just explaining what the Toa does here to Ludi. So we search the top 5 like we established before. It's also a tap 1. If you Spirit Boost, you can sack a card underneath your leader. So really good spot removal for Finn. Jiren player here going ahead to play his Dual Attacker. This is probably one of the best cards against Finn, just for the permanent that when someone tries to remove it, you can take a life or sack cards underneath it to save it. So if I went to absorb it, he could just take a life instead, help himself awaken. Again, Dual Attacker, so great pressure against Finn. I've either got to combo off cards or just take it. I have taken myself down to 6 here pretty easily because this is where I want to be for my awaken. His Topo actually gains 5k when he evolves as well, so this one can now swing into leader. So where we're going to combo off that Toa. He's swinging with leader. We're just going to combo off another Toa because we do want to stay at that 6 life range. Passing turn, playing another Jiren, drawing a card. So Jiren's board getting quite wide here. Back over to Finn. Usually turn 2 is when you want to establish a Unison. Unless you are versing hyper aggro, you might want to wait till turn 3 to play a Unison. We are going to play at turn 2 here just because we are at 6 life and we feel like we can probably survive one more turn without the energy up. Just going to go grab a proxy from the deck box here to act as the cards we steal under our leader. So first up, going to steal that Kunchi. Gets rid of the barrier on all his 1-drops, helps us awaken. So Finn does have the normal 4 life awaken, you draw 2, or your alternate awaken. If you steal something, you can flip over, take your life to 6 and draw a card. So you do get 1 less draw, but you stay at high life, so it's probably more worth it. The Eater card effect is once per turn, but it's once per turn on each side, so we are going to eat another one of his 1-drops, draw a card, and stack that under our leader. Leader gains 5k for every card underneath it as well, so that is 2 cards already. We're at 25k base so far. Opting to play our Boo Unison here instead of the Bardock. So this one, +1, it gains 5k, it can become a 20k beater. -1, you can steal another card and put it underneath your leader. Also, when you spit cards back, if you spit back a vanilla, you draw a card. We're actually going to go for the minus here and steal his other 1-drop, just because we don't want him to start spirit boosting and evolving, gaining advantage on our turn. Like I was saying, Jiren, more of an aggro deck, Finn more of a mid-range control deck, so if you can stall out to that mid-range, you're going to be a lot better off. If I give him too much advantage early game, I am going to kill myself. Just trying to hammer down on that Unison and get it out the way so he can't Spirit Boost or activate Yamcha counterplays. Passing back to Jiren, just spitting back all those 1-drops, they are now vanillas. He can still evolve on them and get all the skills back that way, but Finn really revolves around giving your opponents vanillas so you can use your Floodgate. You'll get to see that a little bit later on in the game. Not telling him off there, just telling him that Unison has 1 marker on it. So he's going to go ahead here and use his leader effect as well to find another 1-drop and play it. He's down to 5 life now, so we know we've only got 1 more turn until he awakens and really starts packing it in. I believe this one's a misplay, probably just playing fast. We're having a chat to each other as well, so he actually just finds a 5-drop Jiren instead of playing a 1-drop. Non-malicious thing, just a misplay. So going ahead and playing that 5-drop Jiren again, like we're talking about, probably the best card for the deck in this matchup. I believe at this point we're also having a chat about ways to improve both decks from the card game creator side of view. So Jiren, if your chain gets removed, you have a really hard time. We were just talking about giving the deck a free promo, something like the Baby or the Cell promo. When one of your cards gets removed, you free play it, helps you go back up the chain. And for Finn, we were talking about maybe a better boss monster or finisher, since we are still relying on Mira, which is like a set 4 card. Just explaining here how the Floodgate works to him. So if he has 2 or more battle cards on board, I can activate this for free by ditching another black card. So you can see we're going to ditch another Unison there. Hand must have been absolutely flooded with Unisons. So it negates the attack. Additionally, if he has a vanilla on board, he only gets 2 more swings with anything for the turn. Absorption of Doom is really how you live and die in this deck, so depending on how many you see is how your game's going to go. He really wanted to clear that Unison, getting rid of that and now swinging a leader, trying to deal a bit more damage. Comboing off those vanillas because he doesn't want me to activate Absorption of Doom every turn. And he's going to pass. Going to play down another 1-drop Jiren here. Another thing we talked about, probably shouldn't have played this one because it lets me get my leader effect to eat something off again. But didn't really want to lose value off that topo free play. So going back to Finn here, probably going to play another Unison. As we were talking about, a hand is absolutely flooded with Unisons. So this time going ahead and playing Bardock. Probably the best Unison Black has at the moment. 2 drops specified, +1 just draw a card. -2 is basically a topo-like effect. When your opponent swings the battle card the next turn, they have to ditch a card to the warp as a cost. He's also got a Spirit Boost effect. When you activate Spirit Boost, you can warp a card in their drop, which is pretty handy against a lot of decks as well. Going ahead, going to chuck that Machamp proxy underneath to indicate we're stealing that 1-drop. And I believe we're going to swing again. Playing his Token Negate to help himself awaken. And still trying to beat down on that Unison, but he is blocking. Overwhelming a mirror, just explaining what this one does to him. So this one, draw 1, warp 1 from hand. And for 3 energy, if you're at 4 or more energy, you can play that old set 4 mirror on top of it. This is the main chain for the deck, or your main win con. It's still really good, but I feel like you could use something a bit better. Great thing about the mirror is he has deflect. The little one doesn't, obviously, though, so all the time people just counterplay that. We're just using it for more swings at the moment, though. I think we are swinging into the leader this time because we do want to start applying the pressure. Now that he's already awakened, there's no point holding off anymore. He's just going to use a super combo to get out of that one, and there's not much more we can do, so we might just pass back to him. Jiren hitting 4 energy, so there's a lot that can really happen here. Awakening, I believe untap 1, draw 1, so access to 5 energy this turn. As you can see, he does have that 1-drop on board, which is a vanilla at the moment, so our Absorption of Doom, which we're talking about at the moment, is live. If he can evolve on top of it and get rid of that skillless sort of effect, he can get around my Absorption of Doom. So good chance to talk about the channels. LudyBros Entertainment from America here. Got some cool content. A few webcam battles like this one and a few local battles. I'll chuck them in the description as well so you can have a look at his content. Always good to try and promote each other though. Obviously ourselves, we mainly focused on locals content up until this point. Did 1 or 2 deck profiles, but trying to broaden our horizons and get into a few different things. Jiren going ahead, again, activating his effect. Obviously, I'm not applying too much pressure, so it feels pretty safe to go down to lower life. Playing another 1-drop Jiren here. Just talking about the Jiren deck again, its end goal, you really want to get to that big, I believe it's 8-drop Jiren, comes out for 2 energy. Dual attack, essentially, double strike. But the rest of the deck is mainly beat down spam. Going to start with his dual attack Jiren for the turn. Activating another Absorption of Doom there, but we're paying 1 energy for it this time instead of ditching the card. Like I was saying, it's pretty much the lifeblood of Finn. If you're thinking about playing Finn and you want to play 2 or 3 copies of Absorption of Doom, you're probably doing it wrong. Eating cards is fun, but it's not the main appeal to the deck. The main appeal is being a black control deck, which we don't have too much of, honestly, apart from maybe Hachiak. Black's always traditionally been more of an aggressive colour, mainly because you don't have the same tools other colours have. You don't have that free counterplay like Trunks or Frieza. You don't have generally as good a floodgates, but obviously now we've got Absorption of Doom in this deck. Oceanus coming out is huge. It's going to go ahead and swing again, this time at Unison. And again, swing at Unison. I feel like a lot of the time Unison's red herrings, people really want to beat down on them. If you're scared of a counterplay against another colour, that's fantastic. Maybe beat them down to 1 or get rid of their Unison. Blue, for example, if you can get rid of their Unison, be great, you avoid God Sealing, but Black doesn't really have any free counterplays attached to a Unison, so there's no real point getting rid of the Unison unless you think it's going to progress your game state. Going ahead, playing his 1-drop again and just passing back to Finn. Finn getting a bit more energy, so a few more things we can start doing here. Going to draw 1 off our Bardock to start with, probably going to eat a card as well. Swinging his leader, he's going to topple us, so that's pretty much the end of our turn. Oh no, going for a token negate instead. Tap 2 for the new Finn, so this one's from the new set. Deflect, Barrier, 2-drop, draws you a card on play. Also, if you activate Spirit Boost, you can play the boss monster on top of it for free. It's a great card to start the Finn chain, but it does cost you 1 more Spirit Boost. 1 less energy for 1 more Spirit Boost. Unless your Unison has a huge amount of markers, it's pretty rough getting rid of it just to play your boss monster, but sometimes you need to. Just checking how many cards are under his Jirens here. I believe he needs 2 cards underneath the Jiren to save it, or he takes a life. So if I activate my leader effect on a Jiren here, I can essentially either do a free damage or I just get rid of the card for him. So we're going to take a life to save his Jiren. Free damage for us, which is pretty nice. Going to activate Spirit Boost on our Unison here with the little Finn, so we get to warp a card from his drop off of Bardock's effect as well. Going to hit that Jiren, and then attempt to play our big Finn on top. So Finn comes out. Normally he costs you 3 energy when you're at 4 or more energy. Also requires you to spirit boost on play if you want to eat everything. So this time we get to take everything on his board, ignoring barrier, and chuck it under our leader. Apart, of course, from that token, that'll just go away. And the cards underneath the Jirens will go away as well. Important he puts them in the drop instead of under our leader, otherwise it would be huge for base power. So stolen 5 cards under the leader there, so we get a 25k bump. We should be up to 40k base at the moment. The Finn is a great card, but I really don't like Spirit Boost as a mechanic. Just killing your Unison feels terrible. This one as well, if you activate main and sack a card underneath your leader, you get to restand him and swing again. So good spot removal as well. You can eat everything and then remove something that was a problem. Tapping 1, activate battle once we've swung with our leader. So playing our Supreme Kai, Secret Rare, the Brainwashed. Finn is swinging 40k base at the moment as well. Jiren's going to awaken. I have tried a few different Secret Rares in the Finn deck. The mirror that came out that is supposed to work with the deck is fantastic. 4 energy, goes on top of your Unison, empowers, and is a, I think, dual attack, double strike, 40k that wipes their board. It is fantastic, but a lot of your things in your deck require spirit boosting a specified cost 2 black Unison, so playing a yellow Unison doesn't really help you too much. I'm going to swing with Kai here. Small misplay on my behalf as well. I told him it was 40k, so he combos out to 45 to get out of that one. It's actually a 50k because of Servant, but doesn't have too huge of an impact on the game. Kai's effect as well, her second effect, apart from being a 50k double strike for 1, which is nice, she can also semi-floodgate your opponent. So if you tap 1, remove her from the game, your opponent can't swing with anything that's not a leader unless they crit a life as a cost. So Unisons, battle cards, each time you swing, got to sack a life before you do. Going to restand our Finn here by sacking a card under his leader. I believe it was the dual attack Jiren. Then we're just going to dump on this because it looks like he has nothing left in hand. No energy, so he can't be sneakily Heroine's lineaged or anything, even though Finn's an 8 drop, but still. So going up to about, I think, 50 or 55 there. Jiren just counting the cards in his hand, but not quite enough to get out of that one, so we are going to game 2. So these Rising Phoenix Odyssey tournaments are best of 3 games. We did have a chat to each other about this over Discord first. Since it's a fun tournament, we're not really going to bother siding against each other. Gentleman's agreement, just go with whatever was in our main decks at the time. So good chance to talk about the tournament structure as well. The way this one works, at least as far as I know, you play about 5 or 6 rounds. If you make it all the way to the end, it's double elimination. So obviously if you get eliminated early, you still get 1 more chance to go back up from the elimination bracket, but 2 losses and you are out. Best of 3 games, but you cannot play the same leader twice. So now that I've used Finn, I cannot go back to Finn anymore. Depending on you and your opponent, you can play via webcam or untap as well. I personally prefer untap myself, just because it gives people access to cards they don't own in their collection. For fun games at least, I think that's better. And also, it's a little bit cleaner than webcam sometimes. As you can see, my camera's a little bit choppy. So yeah, 5 or 6 rounds total, I believe, in this tournament. Not allowed to play the same deck twice. I've decided to try and play all black decks all the way to the top, if we make it there. Finn, obviously, out of the way now. A few other good choices would be Gogeta, Xeno, or Trunks. You'd probably leave them to later on. In terms of competitive decks, Black doesn't have, apart from Gogeta, there's nothing too really meta-defining. Obviously, Finn's a great rogue deck. Mechikabura is a fun rogue deck. Trunks is very good. It's close to the top, but doesn't quite perform as hard as Gogeta does. Jiren losing that first round, so he gets to choose who goes first. This time he actually chooses to let Finn go first. We are tapping one for a cantrip. Dabura just draws you a card. If they have a vanilla on board, he gains barrier and blocker as well. So if you pair this up with Absorption of Doom, essentially your opponent only gets one swing for the turn, which is pretty nasty. Same thing with the Mirror Unison. It is fantastic for the deck, the secret rare, if you can get it off. Same thing with only letting your opponent get one swing for the turn because of the blocker. But it just feels clunky playing a yellow Unison when your deck requires Spirit Boost from black Unisons. Jiren going ahead, taking a life, playing his Jiren again. Searching top of deck for another Jiren, this time grabbing the promo. Going ahead, going to swing with leader and just deal the damage to Finn there. Up until this point on the channel, we've mainly focused on locals content, but trying to do some different stuff, including, obviously, here we go with some webcam battles. We're going to try and get some untapped matches and some more deck profiles on the content channel. Going ahead, playing that Kunshi to give his 1-drops barrier, trying to protect that Jiren, or it might have just been the only thing in hand, might not have had a topo this game. Again, like I was saying in game 1, we really don't want Jiren to awaken too quickly, so we're just going to swing at his 1-drop here. I wholeheartedly thought he'd let it die here, but he defends this thing really hard. So comboing off 2 cards to save that Jiren. I think I'm asking him here what Jiren's power level as well. I wasn't sure if it was a 4 or 5k. My Dabura is a 4k. He's not really getting me too much advantage at the moment being a blocker because he doesn't have any vanillas on board, but we are going to swing at the Jiren with a 4k as well. Going to combo off that Kunshi, still trying to save the Jiren. I think at this point, tap 2 for the Unison, he just has to let the 1-drop die. So Finn, as I was saying before, really fun rogue deck. You just get to eat all your opponent's battle cards. People are not a huge fan of that. Love to play decks that annoy people. This, Hachiak, Mechikabura. Jiren going ahead, trying to establish his chain again, playing that 1-drop off the leader effect. Tapping 1, getting his Unison online again. Evolving for free off that Jiren. I believe draws him a card, gets his Unison plus 5k again. And negs something 5k, so just going to get rid of my Deborah before it gains barrier. Really enjoyed this game. Love more archetype focused decks over soup meta decks, personally. If I was to play competitive, again, you'd probably go for something like Gogeta or U7 at the moment, which are archetype decks as well, which is really nice. But in the meta of things like Gohan, Icarus, it really wasn't too fun. You're just versing the best yellow cards in the game with no real engine apart from your 4 vanillas. Tapping 1, evolving into that 5-drop dual attacker as well, just because I can't eat that one. And playing his Kunshi off the Unison effect. We were having an interesting chat this game as well about what we upload. So both of us personally more enjoy these rogue decks, but obviously they don't do as well on YouTube channel-wise. You upload something like Soul Striker, Gogeta Xeno, U7, you'll get a lot of views. You upload something more fun, creative, like these decks, and obviously view count's not going to be as good. I might personally more enjoy it, but obviously the people want meta. Probably good for new players to learn as well. If you are watching the top decks in the meta, you get to see what your ideal play line should be. I feel if you've been playing the game for a long time, you probably enjoy this stuff more because it's different, stuff you don't see all the time. So Finn has gone ahead, awakened this turn, played that 2-drop with barrier and deflect again, just to do something. I don't think we had anything else in hand to really do at that point, but because he hasn't evolved this turn, he does still have a 5k Unison, and we can swing at it with the Finn and pass over to there. So getting back his vanilla, I've got 1 energy open, so probably expecting another absorption of Doom. Yeah, so we're just talking about a small misplay that happened here as well. Last turn, I declared that I was going to use my leader effect when there was only basically the Jiren on board, the one that lets him take a life. I said that I wanted to declare to eat nothing because I don't want to give him access to that life and that early awaken, but he must have just heard that I was going to eat and Jiren, so he took that life instead, going down to 5. The reason I didn't want to eat the Jiren, take him down to 5, would just to accelerate his awaken, means there's going to be more pressure on me. So if I can avoid that, I'm in a better position. Here in his top search, you can actually see he's playing Vegeta Secret Rare, which is something I don't think I've seen in Jiren yet. Vegeta's a great Secret Rare. I don't know if you'd have the sparking in your drop to get it, all its effects though. Looks like he has probably just under 10 cards in his drop at the moment. Activating the old yellow promo Jiren from the yellow deck, plays, I think, 2 1-drop U11s. It's been a great card in this deck to help get your chain going again. Unfortunately, it is yellow, so it's not searchable. You do really have to just draw into it. but it's fantastic. You're either, ditching a card to set up your chain again, or at worst, when you're going for game, you're ditching the Jiren, you're ditching 5k to gain 10k combo power, essentially. So just talking again about what that barrier deflect fin does for the deck. Looks like Jiren here debating whether or not he wants to play the big Jiren this turn. He's going to go ahead and do it anyway. So this one is the one we were talking about before, the boss monster of the deck. I think it's 35k, double strike, sack some cards underneath it to restand it and go again, and it also negs 30k ignoring barrier, I believe. He's going to swing it leader with that one. We're going to activate Petrification and ditch a card to stop the Jiren from activating its effects for the turn. Petrification, probably honestly one of the best negates in the game. If you are playing a black deck and you are sort of mid-range, I'd definitely recommend at least including probably 2 Petrification. In the current meta, you can hit a lot of stuff. I play 2 currently in Finn on top of the 4 Absorption of Dooms. If you're playing an aggro deck like, again, Gogeta Xeno, I probably wouldn't put it in my main board, I'd sideboard it. Just because it's not combo power in an aggro deck. Still fantastic, but I'd hopefully try and win the game before Petrification really comes into play. Going back to Finn now, going into 4 energy, upticking the Unison just to draw a card. And leader effect, going to try and draw another card. We're going to eat his big Jiren. So sacks the cards underneath it, which means he can't restand it next turn. Obviously makes it vanilla as well. But we gain double strike from absorbing its keywords. Going to tap 2 again for our barrier deflect fin. Drawing a card. Activating Spirit Boost, so trying to play our boss monster again, obviously. Not going to worry about the drop area interaction with Bardock this time. But playing his big fin, which just lets us eat his whole board again, ignoring barrier, which is fantastic. Makes our leader even stronger. Plus, again, we already have that double strike keyword. I believe we absorbed like 4 or 5 cards now, so we should be again around that 40k mark, double strike, which is fantastic. Start off swinging with the Finn, boss monster. Sequence-wise, if you can swing with the Finn first, then your leader, then sack the card and restand, you keep that power buff on your leader, so that's probably the best way to go. He's going to violent raise there though, just to stop the 2 attacks from Finn. Going to ditch card, obviously calling battle cards. Black doesn't really have any good high-costed unisons with 20k power or more. Swinging with leader, hoping to get that double strike from 5 to 3, but activating testing the opposition to stop that. Swing with Bardock, just get rid of the blocker and his 5k, and we'll restand our Finn just to get rid of that massive Jiren, the double striker. So you are eating cards, but if you spit them back next turn, even if they're vanilla, you still have a 30k or a 35k swinging at you. It's still not fantastic. Activating Torif again to top 5 for a card. Going to grab that Dabura with barrier and blocker if they have a vanilla on board. And going to pass over there. Probably not playing the Dabura, even though we can activate the Absorption of Doom for free here. Keeping one up for, I think, another Petrification, just in case he has another Jiren. Jiren going ahead, again activating leader effect, top 7 for a 1-drop. I think again just that misplay of searching and grabbing a card instead of playing the 1-drop. A lot of the time it's small things like this. It's not intentional misplays, it's just because there's a lot going on. You're having a chat to your opponent, you forget something. Again, tapping 1 for his dual attack Jiren. And again, evolving on this side. Gonna neg my Toa or my big battle card. I think it's 10k or 15k, and his leader gains 5k for evolving. Tapping 2, big Jiren again, or not quite yet. Swinging with his little Jiren first this time. Getting rid of my unison. Swinging with his dual attacker, thinking about comboing off some vanillas. Doesn't decide to though. Resending, I take that life. Obviously no absorption of Doom in this hand just yet, otherwise we probably would have used it already. Now it's going to tap 2 for that Jiren. Kill my Finn and just clear my board. Also gains another 5k on the leader from evolving. I think that's limit 2, so you can do that up to twice per turn on your turn. Swing with Jiren, going to hit another petrification here, so I've been pretty lucky this game. I've seen both petrifications in my deck, but Finn, you do draw a lot of cards, so pretty likely you see a lot of the things you want, plus the searches to grab your engine. It's really nice. The deck has good consistency. He's going to swing with his leader, who I think was a 25k base. We're going to activate that new token negate. Having the token negate has been great in black. I don't know why they felt the need to give it to us 2 or so sets later, but it's good to finally have it. Did see a lot of people complaining they don't think black needs more defensive tools like the token negate since we're already an aggressive colour. I feel like whatever you don't play though you think is unfair, so if you're a blue player, you probably think black's unfair because you're so aggressive and you've got access to things obviously like petrification, obviously in this deck absorption of doom. However, coming from the other side as a black player, you're probably going to think blue is unfair for having God Sealing and Baby Hatchyak and all that. But in this game everything's unfair, so it's all fine. If you play every colour, it probably gives you a better understanding of the game and makes you a better player yourself. Jiren passing back to Finn, not really much more to do there since they have exhausted most of their attacks of the turn. He's been petrified. Gonna go ahead and steal his big Jiren again, so gaining double strike on our leader. Finn's one of those decks that's really only as good as your opponent, so obviously he's given me some good battle cards this game, helps pump me up. Activating Violent Raise again there though. I was not expecting this Violent Raise because I think I wanted to play my mirror this turn. Pretty useless now, apart from the Ditch 3 from hand, which is, I mean, it's still good, you just can't swing with the mirror. Gonna go ahead, tap 2 for our unison instead of the mirror now, because can't really go for that one. At least the Boo can still swing. Gonna go ahead, plus get to 20 and then swing at his leader again. Token is a 5k, so that one can swing as well. May as well get some value out of that. Gonna swing at leader with the token. Chuck a super combo behind it, so at least it can push some damage or waste some cards out of his hand. I believe this is the first super combo we've used in 2 games as well. Because in Finn you are awakening at 6 life, your super combo doesn't really feel as impactful as other decks that rush themselves down to 4. Going to tap 1 for that Deborah that we picked up earlier. Just going to draw us a card. When we spit the battle card back, he will have Barrier and Blocker, which is going to be handy for our next turn as well. So spitting back the Jiren, passing over to him, Deborah gains Barrier and Blocker because that Jiren's there. And Jiren can't swing into our unison because he is a vanilla. Going to tap 1 for Crown. One of the probably best cards in red. Just hand knowledge is always fantastic no matter what deck you're playing. So going to show him everything here. Obviously there's a Marseille, we've got the Mirror, Kai, Secret Rare again in hand, so he saw what that one does last game. Got a Bardock Unison, so top row is stuff he can't take, bottom row is stuff he can take. Got 2 board wipe Finns, a Mirror, a super combo and a Champa. He's going to go ahead and take that super combo, probably the right choice, just deny me combo power. He has seen there's a Marseille in there now though, so he can't strike me from 3 or 2 down to 0 while I have an energy up. Another one of like the best defensive black tools we've gotten over the last few sets. Gonna activate that Jiren again just to spam out 2 1-drops, either start the chain or get some more combo power going. Getting another 5k on his leader. This game is definitely pushed harder than the last game. Sort of sat on those 5 drops a bit better. First attack he's swinging with, going to block with that Deborah. So probably tells you again that we don't have the Absorption of Doom in hand, but we have left 2 up for that Kai Secret Rare, so we're going to block, activate battle, play the Kai, and more than likely tap 1 for its effect as well. So just explaining to him now what it does, like we were talking about before, that Floodgate-esque effect. So second, tapping 1, removing the Kai from the game. If he swings with anything that's not a leader now, he'll have to crit a life as a penalty. And Deborah is dead there. Kai going under the leader just to signify it's removed from game. So he does get that 20k swing with leader, which is essentially no penalty to him. Going to go ahead and do that one first, see if he can take me down to 3. We did see what was in my hand before. We had a Champa, Unison, so there are obviously already 2 cards that I can't combo with. He knows I have no super combo unless I pick one up from life in the next few life. Goes ahead, tries to push with the super combo there. I'm just going to take it because I really do not have another combo power to defend this. Tapping 2 going into that big Jiren again. May as well neg my token because it's the only battle card on the board. Swinging again, critting the life as the penalty for that Kai. Chooses not to combo on this Jiren, which I found interesting, even if he comboed 5 or 10k just to assure the damage. I think that was literally every 5k I had in my hand to defend it, but got out of the first swinging attack from Jiren. He's going to restand. He's thinking about pushing again, but it's probably not worth it now. He'd have to crit 1 more life, and he'd only be able to take me to 1. I think Jiren's pretty much exhausted all of his options here. You can see he's only got about 2 cards left in hand there. Does decide to evolve. Drawing him, I think. Drawing 1 or top searching for something. Drawing 1, yeah. Myself only with about 3 cards left in hand as well. Champa should be one of them, so 2 life, really not a safe place to be. Decides to swing 1 more time, sacking a life. I'm just automatically going to take this. Again, something we chatted about after the game. Probably shouldn't have swung at me there, taking himself down to 1, giving me more card advantage in hand. And at this point, he's only got 1 card in hand, so we're just going to activate the mirror promo, rip that last card out of his hand, and swing for game with the big mirror. So pretty much no way out of this one. Like I said, great finisher for the deck, but being a set 4 card, I think Finn could probably use something a little bit better. Still a really interesting game though. Check out LudyBros, we'll chuck him in the description for you. Really enjoyed this one though, so thanks to him for that. We will have some more matches from this series coming up, but that's the end of that one. I'll try and get some more interesting decks for you in the future. Cheers.